like them to give me.
And a welcome here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. Appreciate your patience here this morning as we got set and ready to go inside the Great Lakes Honda City studios. How are you? Hopefully wonderful. Hope you're having a great morning this morning. Hope you're staying safe, that you're enjoying the day that God has given you and I, and making the most of the time that you have inside these Great Lakes Honda City studios. I am so happy to be here with you. Great Lakes Honda City coming to you on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Sales and service Monday through Saturday. The only day they are closed is Sunday. So make sure you get yourself over there. Let them know that DT sent you. They have new and used vehicles. The Honda Pilot, CRV, Ridgeline, HRV, Accord, Civic, and more. So head out to Great Lakes Honda City today and find your next ride. And you can get a sneak peek of everything they have to offer by going to greatlakeshondacity.com. Here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, we thank you for being with us here up and down the East Coast, the Midwest, the West Coast, and all around the globe. You're here on Wake Up Call with us on youtube.com and facebook.com, both /WakeUpCallDT, and on wakeupcalldt.podbean.com. So however you're connected with the show, we thank you for tuning in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, Monday through Friday between 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And of course, it's a Thursday, which means P to the Jizzle, J. Edgar Twizzle. He's on the show here with us today. And you know what? He said that he's looking good. And you know what the funny thing is? I can't deny it. PJ is. Got the haircut. He's fresh face. He's obviously down in Florida. The sun is shining. It's warm and it's nice. So we're happy to have PJ on the show today. He actually told me right before the broadcast that he is going to be buying Mary the finest piece of jewelry now that he has his own vehicle, or another vehicle, I should say. So he has let it be known that he's going to the jewelry shop. He's going to let Mary pick something out. And he actually said it's going to be the same price of the car that he got. So, MT, that's what I heard.
My goodness gracious.
That's what I heard, MT.
Oh, I'll be broke.
So, inside of ModPawsPopcorn.com's What's Poppin', we are here with Papa Joe to speak on Major League Baseball post-trade deadline moves. Remember, folks, that trade deadline was last Thursday at 6 o'clock, Thursday, July 31st at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. We are almost a full calendar week from that day. So we'll talk about how things have been going for the teams that have brought in players and lost players. And then in hour number 2 at 10:15 a.m. Eastern Time, 9:15 a.m. Central Time, where he is, you'll hear from Tim Lester, offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach of the Iowa Hawkeyes, as they step into the 2025-26 season. So with that being said, Papa Joe looking good, cut in the hair, got the tan on the face. Little bit less in the wallet, though, after he helps out MT. PJ, how we doing today?
Oh, very good, Daniel. Very good. Hotter than blazes down here, buddy. Stay up there.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing is I got to come down to Florida, and I'm trying to figure out when I'm coming down. And everybody that I've talked to that's been down to Florida recently was like, dude, it is ridiculously hot. I was like, no. I always end up down in Florida in July or August, July and August. And August is July is hot, but August and sometimes September is just blazing sometimes. So what's the temperature down there? 112? What's the temperature?
Very, very hot. Very hot.
Yeah. So PJ here with us here this morning, and we're talking about Major League Baseball. And like I said, we're about a full week removed from the trade deadline. So I'm going to unleash PJ here on his thoughts and what's going on as we take a look at things. And I know that, PJ, we go through the Major League Baseball standings and we look at the hitting stats as well as what's going on from that trade deadline and how did things work out. And then, of course, the Major League wild card. Now that we are edging closer and closer, we could take a look at how the wild card standings look. So, PJ, first and foremost, the overall standings of baseball division by division. Where are these teams at? Let us know.
Okay, well, I'll start with the American League, and then I'll go into the stats. American League East, we got the Blue Jays are taking over control. The Yankees are pitiful. They're 6.5 back. 6.5. 6.5, folks. And a month ago, they were leading the league.
Yeah.
The Red Sox have soared. They are now second. I don't know what to say. I've been watching the Yankees almost every night. Last night, somehow, they got to win 3-2, but I just don't see. I don't see them progressing at all because the players that they got for the trade deadline are not getting any outs for them. They're not running the bases right. They're certainly not hitting. So, even with Judge back, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I'm a big Yankees fan, have been for years, but this is too much for me to take. So I'm actually looking for them to make a change. I don't like to say that because I don't like to see things interrupted in the middle, but someone's got to shake something up here. You can have a clubhouse meeting with all the players, whatever, Yeah. Somehow it's not working. Anyway, that's my rant. Let's go to the Central Division, where the Tigers have been there from the get-go. The Guardians are second. The Royals are third. Detroit's the real deal. The Royals are creeping up. Not as good as I thought they would. Their hitting wasn't as good as it was last year. So I got to look for them to make a move. In the West, we got the Astros in front of the Mariners by 2. I think all the trade talk we're probably going to talk about after the standings. Of all the teams that made a big move, the Mariners have. The Mariners have stuck it. Like a dude, a Mary Lou letting Red jumping a 10 in the pommel horse. They've stuck it, yeah. And I think they're going to be a major player. National League, we got the Phillies and the Mets are going to go back and forth for the rest of the year. Phillies are up 2.5. The Marlins are 8.5 back. I don't see them making any dent at all. But to make things happy for the Marlins, they swept the Yankees last week. Marlins swept the Yankees. Say that 3 times, folks. Marlins swept the Yankees. Beautiful. National League Central, the Brewers and the Cubs are going to go be back and forth. The Brewers are up 4 now. The Cubs falling by the wayside. The Brewers were 9-1 last week. Give themselves some breathing room. Yeah. National League West, this is where it's going to be. This is where the champions are going to come out of. The Dodgers, the Pirates, and the Giants. Padres and the Giants. The Giants have slipped 8 back. The Dodgers are up by 2. The Padres went and got some good help on the trade deadline. So, folks, this is where these guys make money. This is what they do. All right, let's go to some stats, which I love to do. Come on, sleepy computer.
Well, PJ, I want to hit you with I want to hit you with this right now before we do the stats. You were talking about you think the Yankees should make a move. You think they should do something. And this was a question that was brought up. You know that New York City fans are not always the most patient. I can't imagine why, since they're so good in traffic and they never beep their horn. But Aaron Boone, the question now becomes the question that was at the end of last season. Do the Yankees let go of Aaron Boone before the season's over?
I don't want to see that. Aaron Boone and his whole family played this game going back 50 years. He knows the game. He played the game. He was an excellent ball player. He cannot go out and field and run and hit and catch like his team can. I mean, his team is letting him down. I don't like Chisholm at all. He does hit a home run every once in a while. They moved him from third to second. He's not making the plays I thought he would. Anthony Beauplay is starting to play a little bit better, hitting a little bit better. The kid at third now, McMahon, is doing a good job. Judge is back. Perhaps maybe he can lift him up a little bit. I don't blame Boone, but I sort of blame Boone. It's sort of like, I think that the working of the bullpen hasn't been up to snuff, and he almost had to play or had to pitch the players that he got on trades, and none of them are doing the job. You can only do so much. Yeah, your players have got to play. Now Devin Williams who is supposed to be their closer from the Brewers that they got signed for multi-million-dollars. He's got an ERA over 5.5. How can your closer have an ERA like that and expect to win ball games? Daniel, they can't. They can't. Let's go to American League stats.
Yep.
You got Cal Raleigh from Seattle's leading home runs. He's also leading in RBIs. This guy, along with Naylor and Juarez in Seattle, are going to make a huge, huge difference. And I wouldn't be surprised, folks, that they run by Houston. I think Houston's still a better ball club because they got Correa back from Minnesota, one of their cheaters from 5 or 6 years ago. But Raleigh is the guy that's leading in home runs and RBIs. Judge is second. Now Judge is hitting 333 now, I think, something like that. 330. Now it wasn't a month ago that we were talking about Aaron Judge possibly hitting 400.
Yeah.
Well, I told you then that that's not going to last. I said it'd be very, very unlikely to even hit 350. He's not going to do that. Pitchers are loading up on him. Managers don't want to pitch to him. They send out the 0-4 to the catcher and to the umpire, walk the guy without even hitting him. It's beautiful. Beautiful. Let's look at some pitching. I don't care about the hitting right now. Pitching's where it's at. Garrett Crochet, Boston's leading with a 2.34 ERA. Now, Crochet came from Chicago, which is kind of bad enough as it is. But he's got a new lease on life, and he's the one. He's the one.
Yeah.
I'm in the 21st century, Daniel, with using computers now. So everyone's going to have to excuse my 5 or 10 seconds.
No, it's fine. I mean, like you said, and I did put the poll up here just for people to know. I said, do you believe the New York Yankees will let go of manager Aaron Boone before the 2025 season is over? Early voting is no. People do not believe that Aaron Boone is going to be let go by the Yankees before the season's over. So you can vote in that. And just so you know, last week, PJ and I had a doubleheader. You can go back and listen to it and get the full effect of what happened in the Major League Baseball trade world before the trade deadline, as we had a 2-part series, and that's available on Podbean. It's also available on Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, Player FM, and so on and so forth. So many different places you can get it. You search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT on any one of those outlets, and you will find my 2-part series with Papa Joe as we go through the Major League Baseball moves and let you know what's happening all the way to that last day of the trade deadline in the morning of July 31st. And then on August 1st, after the trade deadline happened, we let you know everything that occurred that got in, all those faxes that made it before 6 p.m. Eastern time. So you go back and watch those shows, and I'll share them on the feed as well so you don't miss out. PJ, I do want to make a note here while you were bringing up your stats that last week we put out a bunch of polls, and I want to just go back to some of these and let people know how things have been shaking out in the polls that we put out to the people. You voted in them so quickly, and I cannot thank you enough, and I appreciate the support, and I appreciate the attention to our social media, of course, on X, the former Twitter, at CallDT. That's CALLDT. You went and voted in our polls, and I thank you so much for doing that. So I want to get to some of those, and as I sift through the information that we have here from our social media, I had a lot of stuff I did at camp, so that was coming up. Okay, with former Cy Young Award winner Shane Bieber heading to Toronto from Cleveland, will the Blue Jays win the 2025 AL East title? And right now, you can vote for the next 43 minutes. That's all that's left. 71.4% of you said yes. 28.6% of you said no. So you do believe the Blue Jays will win the 2025 AL East, and you believe that Shane Bieber is the help for that, Mr. Shane Bieber, former Cy Young winner. The other polls that are already finished, what's your vote? Will the Diamondbacks pitcher Zach Gallen be traded before the deadline? 69.6% of you said yes, he was not traded, though. So 30.4% of you, the minority, were correct. And then, will the Diamondbacks trade pitcher Merrill Kelly before the deadline? 63.6% of you said yes, you were correct. He did get traded to the Rangers, a team he pitched against in the World Series in 2023. And 36.4% of you said no, which ended up not being true. The New York Yankees have made moves for third baseman Ryan McMahon, infielder Ahmed Rosario, and outfielder Austin Slater. Is this enough for them to compete for a real shot for the AL East title this season? 87.5% of you said no. And then 12.5% 12.5% of you 12.5% of you said yes. So right now the Yankees are not in that driver's seat. So the over 80% of you are correct at the moment. And then two other polls here. With the addition of Josh Naylor and Eugenio Suarez from the trades with the Arizona Diamondbacks, will the Seattle Mariners win the AL West in the 2025 season? You have 5 more minutes to vote in that poll. 78.6% of you have said yes. 21.4% of you have said no. And will the New York Mets making trades for 3 pitchers, left-handed pitcher Gregory Soto, right-handed pitcher Tyler Rogers, and right-handed pitcher Ryan Helsley, do you believe that they have enough to win the NL East in the 2025 Major League Baseball season? Jerry, you're not going to like it. 64.3% of people say yes. 35.7% say no. There's 9 minutes left to vote in that poll. All these polls are on X, the former Twitter, @CallDT, CALLDT. Follow us. Vote in the polls. Let me know what you're thinking. Y'all believe that the Mets can do it, and a lot of you believe that the Yankees are not gonna. So the two different boroughs there, you're believing in the Mets, not so much in the Yankees, and people got a belief in the Toronto Blue Jays. So that's an update, PJ, on the polls that we put out there.
I like it. Well, they actually listen to what we talk about, don't they, Daniel?
Yeah, and you know what Jerry just said? He said all Mets fans voted. That's what he said.
All right, let's go to some pitching in the American League.
Yeah.
Garrett Crochet is 13-4 with a 2.24 ERA. However, the leader in ERA is Tarek Skubal, who we know from Detroit last year. He's 11-3 with a 2.18 ERA. It looks like that he's going to be a back-to-back Cy Young Award winner, as well he should be. I think he's a terrific pitcher, and he's got an edge to him too, which I like. I like what his edge. Let's go to some hitting in the junior circuit, I think. Okay. Joe?
You're all good, PJ.
Kyle Schwarber is leading with home runs. He knocked in 2 a couple days ago and drove in 6 runs. He's leading the league in home runs and RBIs. Ohtani is falling by the wayside. I saw him go 1 yard last night. The Dodgers won that game. He's a formidable player when he leads off the game. I can't imagine if you're a pitcher and you're watching a 6'5" gargantuan come up there that's clubbed 1 million home runs, and you make a mistake against this kid, and he goes yard. I mean, it's scary. It's scary. This player I like to watch though is Pete Crow Armstrong from the Cubs. This kid's going to be a superstar. He already is a superstar, I think. Now, let me say, he's a star, not a superstar yet. If he's a superstar in the next couple of years by doing the same thing, he'll be a superstar. I like him. Pitching-wise, we got Zach Wheeler at 9-5, 2.64 ERA. Logan Wegg, San Francisco, 3.24, 10-8. Paul Skeens, who is the next super pitcher in the league. He's leading the league in ERA with 2.02. His record is only 6-8. I don't know why. These guys in the field, they must just look at Skeens' pitch and forget how to hit, because they're not giving him any support at all. I mean, he's got a 6-8 record with just a little over a 2 ERA. I mean, that's unconscionable. I mean, his players must be hypnotized by this guy pitching, which is fine. But turn around in the batter's box and get us some runs. That's it, Daniel. That's all I want to do.
Yeah, so, I mean, like you said, and giving us an update on the standings as well as what's going on in the statistical analysis of Major League Baseball right now. PJ and I are going to discuss what's happening since some of these deals have been made. Are some of these teams better off? Are they not? We'll take a look at what's going on. We know that Tigers were very busy before the trade deadline. We know the Kansas City Royals were as well. The Yankees made some moves, as I had mentioned. The Mets made a bunch of moves to get pitching. The Arizona Diamondbacks were sellers. The Boston Red Sox were buyers. They're still vying. The Rays did some things. The Jays did some things. The Padres made some moves. So we'll talk about this with Papa Joe. How are the moves going a week since the trade deadline ended? Now, obviously, some of those moves were made before the final day of the deadline. Some were made in the final moments. But how are things going since the trade deadline? We'll get into that. I do want to make this note. Blue Jays 63 hits in a 3-game sweep of the Rockies, the most since 1900. Once again, the Colorado Rockies are on the wrong side of history. Let's get into this thing here. I feel so bad for the Rockies. They're like the punching bag of Major League Baseball right now. The Toronto Blue Jays capped a series for the ages, which happened Wednesday in Denver, Colorado. So they did it on the road in Colorado, setting this wonderful moment in their history. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. had 4 hits, including a homer, and Davis Schneider went deep twice as the Blue Jays routed the Rockies again at Coors Field in a 20-1 win. It does make sense, PJ, that it's called Coors Field where the Rockies play, because I'm sure a lot of people are drinking when they're watching these games. Now,
right.
Toronto finished with 63 hits in the series, the most in a 3-game series since 1900, folks.
Oh my!
That is over 100 years ago. Now, there's more. The Blue Jays, who won the series opener 15-1 in the middle game 10-4, set a franchise record for runs, 45, in a 3-game series. It was the 6th time in franchise history for the Blue Jays since 1977 that they scored at least 20 runs in a series. Pitcher Kevin Gausman said, quote, "Averaging 20-plus hits a game in a 3-game series is pretty absurd. I don't think you can say anything else. The offense has been exceptional." End quote. Bo Bichette and Ernie Clement also homered this past Wednesday, for American League leading Toronto, which hit 13 home runs in the series against the Colorado Rockies. So basically, if you play the Rockies, it's a home run derby. It's time to pad the stats. Ty France had 3 doubles. Clement totaled 4 hits. Bo Bichette and Dalton Varsho, who didn't play Wednesday, each had 10 RBIs in the series to become the first pair of teammates with 10 RBIs each in a series of 3 games or fewer since Edgar Martinez and Alex Rodriguez did so for the Seattle Mariners in 2000, which ironically was against Toronto. Vlad Guerrero Jr. extended his on-base streak to 23 games, the longest current streak in the American League. Toronto scored its first 8 runs in the 9th inning off Colorado catcher Austin Nola, who gave up 8 hits, including homers by Schneider and Clement. Gausman, who's 8-8, allowed 1 run and 3 hits in 7 innings, struck out 8 and walked 2. Bo Bichette hit a 3-run home run off Kyle Freeland, who's 2-12 this season, in the 3rd for a 3-1 lead. Nathan Lukes had a 2-run triple in the 5th. Schneider homered off Angel Shavili to begin a 4-run 6th. Guerrero connected in the 8th. The Rockies are now 30-84.
Oh, geez.
They now have a run differential of negative 316 this season. Their 114 games are the fewest to reach a negative 300 run differential since 1900. And they're surpassing the 1911 Boston Rustlers, who had a negative 300 run differential in 118 games. The last team to reach the mark in fewer games was the 1899 Cleveland Spiders, who did so in 73 games before folding at the end of the season. So, PJ, Colorado on the wrong side of 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 history. All of these runs scored against them. Their run differential is the worst since 1900. The 3-game series that they just had against the Blue Jays was the worst for a team to play since 1900 when you look at what they did against them. The Colorado Rockies continue to be on the wrong side of history, PJ. What is happening in Colorado? And is there anything in the foreseeable future that you believe is going to get them out of the basement of the Major League Baseball world? The Oakland A's right now, whatever you want to call them, the Oakland A's, the Sacramento A's, the soon-to-be Las Vegas A's, the we don't know who we are A's, the first letter in the alphabet A's, whatever you want to call the A's team, they and the Chicago White Sox are looking at Colorado right now and saying, baby, I didn't know how much I needed you, but I appreciate you. PJ, what is going on with the Rockies? They are in just where they sit right now in Major League Baseball. They are the worst team in this category since 1900, and they've allowed the most runs or the most hits since 1900 in another category. It just seems like nothing is going right for Colorado.
Yeah, it's pitiful. They can't hit. They can't pitch. I got the stats on that game last night early, and two things I want to say. The kid that pitched the ninth inning was an infielder. He wasn't a relief pitcher. That's how he gave up 8 runs and 2 home runs. So, they'd already given the game up. So they throw a guy in just to make it fun. Not fun, And Bo Bichette, I think, is a lukewarm favorite to be MVP this year. He's having an extraordinary year. He's just a great player. He's a great player, and he and Vlade really make that team.
Yeah. So, the Toronto Blue Jays continue to rock and roll. The Colorado Rockies continue to have a rocky season. We'll take a step aside for a fast break here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Great Lakes Honda City studios. We will be back to talk about how do these teams look post-trade deadline. And I do want to let you all know that the New York Yankees poll that I put up, do you think the Yankees will let go of manager Aaron Boone before the 2025 season is over? 100% of you have said no. You think they're holding on to him. So we'll see what happens, and we'll be back right after this.
Here's a message from Renee from Brian's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York. Open Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and Sundays for brunch.
It's a lot like the way that my mom and dad ran their restaurant. We have put in place a lot of people that are family to us, very similar to how my dad hired people that were family to him. And then the tradition I'm carrying on is a lot of the items that are on our menu are my dad's. And he taught our chefs how to recreate his dishes. So I think that Tommy McInerney, who our executive chef is, to him it is an art. And I think that when he does create a dish, it's not just about making the food taste delicious, which is definitely our priority, but it's an art to him, and it's almost like his canvas on a plate where he just wants the colors to look great, and people love it because he takes pride in that. And Brian and I appreciate that. We want it to obviously look good and taste good. I will tell you, when we opened up, it was 6 weeks before COVID. And what was amazing was the community, our friends and family stepped up, and everybody did takeout. Everybody supported us. Our hearts were just so filled. So to Brian and I, obviously our friends come all the time, and we just have repeat customers in Jamesville, and I think people going to our previous restaurant in Green Lakes are making the trip to come to Brian's Landing to support us. And I think we have great food and a great atmosphere. So it's very, very important to us.
Head to Brian's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York, where memories have become recipes that are now meals to share with you. Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and on Sundays for brunch. And be sure to come out for live music Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Life gets busy, and sometimes that means us running around. So Canine Camp Dog Daycare offers you an opportunity to give your dog a place to stay while you take care of what you need to throughout the day. Canine Camp Dog Daycare is located on 228 Old Bridge Street in East Syracuse, New York. You can see it from the highway, and it's just off of Erie Boulevard across from BJ's Wholesale Club. Call 315-437-7110. That's 315-437-7110 to schedule an appointment to bring your dog in and tour the facility. Appointments are Monday through Thursday after 6:30, where you and your dog can see everything that Canine Camp Dog Daycare has to offer, including a self-serve dog wash and a retail store filled with all of your dog's wants and needs, including food, treats, harnesses, leashes, and more, making Canine Camp Dog Daycare your one-stop shop for your furry loving friend. Right, Lily? Hawkeyes restaurant, located on 7839 Oswego Road in Liverpool, New York, has been serving our community for decades. Your place to go for home cooking on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road is just minutes from Liverpool High School. And every single month, Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is on site, on location, with Liverpool sports, student athletes, coaches, and administration telling their stories throughout the year. We look forward to seeing you on site at Hawkeyes for their casual pizza side, their fine dining, as well as their bar. And of course, you can order online at myavocollis.com. That's myavocollis.com. For takeout, delivery, and catering, call 315-622-5100. That's 315-622-5100. Come on into the neighborhood spot, Hawkeyes, open 7 days a week in Liverpool, New York. Canine Campground Dog Boarding is your home away from home for your furry loving friends. Open 7 days a week with drop off and pickup times in the morning and later on in the day and early evening. Canine Campground Dog Boarding is the spot to trust with your dog for short and long-term stays. Call 315-299-4013 for more information. That's 315-299-4013, and go to caninecampground.com as well. That's KAMP ground.com, where you will find all of the information on their different cabins, which include the classic cabin, executive cabin, grand cabin, and luxury cabin. Canine Campground Dog Boarding, where your dog will have indoor and outdoor areas as well as their own private cabin for any size, any breed, as well as dogs with different needs. Dog parents and dogs alike choose Canine Campground Dog Boarding. Isn't that right, Lily? Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
And a welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. PJ and I here with you this morning, as we are always together on a Thursday. So PJ and I having some fun here as we're talking about the nation's pastime sport, the diamond that is baseball. And it's funny that we're talking about a PJ's got to buy Mary a couple of those coming up here very soon. PJ, how we doing?
Right. All right. Yeah, you really give me the business, buddy.
I can hear Mary laughing.
Yes, he is.
I'm trying to help her out. So, all right, PJ. So how do you feel? So let's get into some of these moves, right? The Yankees were advantageous. The Royals were advantageous. The Tigers, the Padres were a week removed of the deadline. So what are some of your thoughts on how things have been shaken out?
All right. I'd like to make a mention of a few.
Okay.
I think the Padres, who don't need any help with anything,
Yeah.
they acquire right-handed pitcher Mason Miller from the Athletics. Now, this guy can bring it, really bring it. Over 100 bring it. So I'm looking for him to make a big difference here. The Astros, I got to say, I don't like this move.
Okay.
Bringing back Carlos Carrera. Carrera was part of that kindergarten class that got caught cheating with signals 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah.
He left, went to Minnesota, so they bring him back. He's an excellent player. But why would you bring back someone like that who is, although he's a good player, why would you want to reopen the festering wound that the fans never have forgotten yet?
Yeah.
So I'm not sure I like that move. The biggest deal, of course, other than the Phillies deal, is the Mariners. The Mariners got 2 top flight players to run to make a run. I'm sorry, Daniel, they had to loot Arizona for it, but we sort of knew that Arizona was going to be sellers.
Yeah.
They've lost, I think, 5 players. I think this year. They're in the deadline, but Suarez and Josh Naylor are going to pop in a whole bunch of runs for Seattle. They have an excellent pitching staff as it is, so you get good hitting and good pitching. It looks like from here that they're going to surpass Houston. Now, Houston, to me, for the last couple of years, has been probably one of the best teams in the American League. I don't think so this year. I'm looking for Seattle to really make a move here. The Phillies getting Johan Duran, who can really bring it to. Jerry be happy with that.
Yeah.
The Phillies will make a major move here. They may have enough to hold off the Mets. The Mets, although were no hit for 8 innings last night by a nondescript pitcher, and Soto had to hit a home run to break up the no-hitter, but they lost the game. The Mets and the Yankees are enigmas to me. They got good players. They had good pitching. The Yankees, and they just can't seem to bring it together. I wouldn't be a favor of a Subway Series, frankly. In the next 3 years, I wouldn't look forward to it.
Yeah, and the thing is I've always wanted to see one. I want to be on site for a Subway Series. People going into this season, they had high hopes for it. Talking about Yankees, Mets, Subway Series, World Series. And now, we're looking at 2 teams where, the Mets got to figure it out. PJ, you don't know this. I'm going to share it with you right now. And I'm actually going to put something up tomorrow that I'm going to have some fun with. But I was at a Syracuse Mets game a couple days ago with my dad and my church, and put on a great event. Shout out to Pat Lynch and everybody that helped out with it. So we're out at the game, and the Syracuse Mets say, hey, guess what? We're changing our name. We're not going to be the Mets anymore. And I thought, this is stupid. And if you're not being forced to change it, now if you're being forced to change it, if the New York Mets said, hey, you can't be the Mets anymore, got to be something else, because, the Mets obviously have a connection to this. This is their AAA baseball club. If that be the case, okay. But if it's like, hey, it's just a ploy to get some butts in the seats and to get some more fanfare around us to get people to talk about us, not a good move. Okay, the Mets, I said for years that the Mets should have been Syracuse's parent team, because Syracuse orange and blue. Mets, orange and blue. It makes sense. You got people in New York that are Mets fans, Yankee fans. People go to these games, they wear Mets stuff, Yankee stuff. I don't think they should change their names. But PJ, we've had a lot of construction in Syracuse. We've had a lot of roadblocks in Syracuse. So on tomorrow morning's broadcast, I will be sharing the most ridiculous names that Syracuse could change their names to when they change from being the Mets. But just so you know, PJ, we may not have the Syracuse Mets for long. They just got started being called the Mets within these last few years, and now it might be gone already.
Well, does that mean the Mets are not going to use Syracuse as a AAA team?
No.
Usually when you change names, you're bringing in another team to be to support you. That's not the case?
From what I've understood right now, the Syracuse Mets are looking to change their name, but there hasn't been anything said that the Mets are dropping them. So they're following the 2026 season. They want to be more local. So that's what it's looking at right now. I'm looking at it currently. It says the AAA Syracuse Mets announced that they're going to drop their current nickname following the 2026 season. They're going to make their choice by a fan vote. Although rebrands are relatively common in minor league baseball, things have been pretty consistent in Syracuse since the team's inaugural season in 1934. And when the Mets purchased the franchise in 2018 with the intent to move their own AAA team there in 2019, the team's branding closely mirrored that of the Nationals, with whom it had been affiliated with since 2009. And so then you had the Mets makeover, but we'll see what happens here as they look for a rebrand. We saw the Mets AA affiliate in Binghamton. They've changed their names multiple times. They're the Rumble Ponies now. They used to be the Stud Muffins. And so we'll see what they'll become.
They're awful.
I know, they're terrible. So the name change, the team does plan to hold on to the blue and orange adopted from its parent club, as the affiliation with the Mets runs through at least 2030. So we'll see what they choose, but it looks like they're going to continue to be orange and blue, and they're staying with the Mets at least until, through 2030 here. So we'll see what's going to go on, but they're looking for something with a local connection to the hometown. I think Syracuse Mets works. I think it makes total sense. I think it's good. I think it's helped them to get people there. I think it's probably helped them to sell tickets and merchandise, because you could put the Mets on everything and you can use the Mets logo. So I personally wouldn't change it, but I have come up with a ridiculous list of names that I had going a few days ago, and I think they're funny, and they very much play to Syracuse and what's going on locally in Syracuse right now. So I'm going to take frustration and turn it into comedy on tomorrow's broadcast.
That's good. There are some strange names out there. None of them can lay a candle to what Jacksonville has. They're called the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp.
And I have a Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp shirt, very proudly.
I don't. That is all. That's awful. But they're doing okay. So the Mets, leave the Mets alone. Jumbo Shrimp got to do something.
I got to ask you this, PJ. Who wins a championship first? The Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp or the Jacksonville Jaguars?
Oh, geez. Well, I've been reading the pundits here the last couple of weeks here about the training camps and everything, and we haven't discussed it yet. But Travis Hunter is really setting the world on fire. So, well, that's another time.
It is. I will say that my guy LaQuinn Allen Jr. from Syracuse, that's now on Jacksonville, is doing his thing, and apparently he's doing well out there. So, high hopes for him and the work that he's going to be doing. PJ, any final... Oh, I wanted to get into the wild card. So we take a look at the wild card here and the current wild card standings for Major League Baseball, because, yes, folks, we're over 100 games in, so we got to look at the wild card. And so I got it up here, PJ, who's in it. I got the leaders in the American League, the three teams that are currently in the wild card placement, and everybody that's behind them. So I don't want to steal your thunder here. Do you want to let everybody know who is currently in the standings and who's leading the wild card, and then we'll talk about it from there?
In the American League, you got Toronto, Detroit, and Houston. Those are the league division winners, or leaders, I should say. Then you got Boston at +2.5 and Seattle +1. They're in the plus. Mm-hmm. Then everyone after that is a bunch of minuses. And there's a few teams that are too far down the road. When I looked at this morning, I was upset about it, because it looks like that Kansas City is 4 behind. Mm-hmm. The Rangers are 1.5 behind. So, and of course, Chicago, the White Sox are 18.5 behind. They still got a chance, Daniel. They get a wild card. It's too early to do this. You go to the National League, you got Milwaukee, the Dodgers, and the Phillies lead their league, and you got the Cubs and the San Diego are plus. Then you got everyone else as a minus. The Diamondbacks are -9. I don't see them coming back from that. The Pirates, with the best pitcher in baseball, is a 14. Colorado Rockies are 32.5 out of the wild card.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say.
Yeah.
That's embarrassing as it is.
32 and a half game. You didn't think it could be any worse than in their own division of the NL West, but they're 32 and a half from the National League opportunity of even getting in to a wild card seat. As PJ said, Toronto, Detroit, and Houston all lead their divisions, and that's how it shakes out. As of right now, if the playoffs started today, we're looking at a place where Toronto would be the number one seed in the American League, followed by Detroit and Houston. The Red Sox, who some people surprise as being buyers, not sellers for the trade deadline, they're very much alive. Like PJ said, they're leading the wild card in the AL. They would be number 4 in the American League of the 6 teams that make it. The Yankees are still alive, and the Mariners are here. Now, the Cleveland Guardians and the Texas Rangers are a game and a half behind the Yankees. Kansas City Royals, like PJ said, 4 back, and the Tampa Bay Rays are 4.5. So the only team that is probably not going anywhere in the American League East, Baltimore Orioles. Everybody else still alive of those other 4 teams. And then in the National League, as PJ spoke about what we've seen in the last 10 games for the Milwaukee Brewers, they've gone 9-1. That has now put them above the Los Angeles Dodgers. They have 70 wins, Milwaukee does, 70-44 in 114 games. The Dodgers are behind them 4 games. And then Philly, very close to the Dodgers. So to see Milwaukee and what they've done, and if that can hold, and what that could mean if the Dodgers are the number 2 seed or whatever this ends up shaking out to be. The Chicago Cubs being 4th, and then the Padres, and then the Mets. So interesting here that the 2 New York-based teams, the Yankees and the Mets, are both holding on to the 2 final wildcard spots. Cincinnati Reds are right behind the Mets, 2 games back. The San Francisco Giants, 5 games back. The St. Louis Cardinals, 5.5 games back. And the team that just swept the Yankees, as PJ said, the Miami Marlins, 6 games back. And until it is mathematically impossible, I will mention the Diamondbacks, who are 9 games back. So I did it that one year, PJ. Remember? All the way up to like the last few games, I was like, mathematically, they're not out of it. Until they were out of it, they weren't out of it. But you know, this will be interesting to see if the Mets and the Yankees both make the postseason. Can the Mets get back on the right side of things, and will the Yankees hobble into the postseason? So I guess the question now, PJ, is do 2 New York teams make the 2025 Major League Baseball postseason? Is it Yankees-Mets? Is it Yankees, or is it Mets, or is it neither? What do you think? Right now, they're holding on to the final wild card spot in their respective league. Do both of these teams make it to the postseason?
That's a good poll for you to put up.
Yeah.
It's embarrassing for us to talk about this now, but the Yankees really have more than a 50-50 chance of not making the playoffs. And here a month ago, they were killing everyone. You know, something's not right in New York. And I hate to be redundant, but I don't think that Aaron Boone is the problem. I think these guys are so full of themselves that they can't simply field the ball, throw the ball, run the bases, catch, or hit. I don't get it. And it pisses me off because I want to see good players. I want to see good players play well for their teams. And the Yankees are not doing that for their team.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see, and that's a poll I'm putting up right now here, folks. So with the New York Yankees and New York Mets currently in the wild card hunt, do you believe that both the Yankees and Mets make the 2025 Major League Baseball postseason? So that poll is going up right now on X, the former Twitter. That is X @CallDT, CALLDT is how you follow us on X. So make sure that you go there, you follow us, you show us some love. And I'm putting up the poll right now so that you have it at your disposal. So make sure that you vote in it. Once again, with the New York Yankees and New York Mets currently both in the wild card hunt, do you believe that both the Yankees and Mets make the 2025 Major League Baseball postseason? So the question is, will they both make it, yes or no? Do you think that they will see each other into the postseason here? And so we're putting up the poll right now. Do the Mets and Yankees both make it? And that poll is now officially live. So make sure you vote in it.
Right.
And do you believe the Yankees will let go of manager Aaron Boone? To give you an update on that, 100% of you are hanging strong here. You're saying no. 100% of you do not believe that Aaron Boone is going anywhere while the season is still going on. So, interesting words here. PJ, any final thoughts in the baseball world that we didn't get to that you'd like to add?
Well, there's some more statistics I'd like to get into, but, you've heard me say this trillions of times. You win pennants with pitching and defense. This is the time of the year where you got to accumulate what you can get, bring up some players in the minor league that can throw an inning here or there. Sometimes I think that the Tampa Bay Rays are smarter than anyone else because they use 7 pitchers a game, an inning here, an inning and a half there. And, forget about trying to go 5 innings. Maybe they're smarter than the rest of these guys. But the Yankees don't have enough pitching. They're not hitting well. They're not feeling well. They're not running well. They're not throwing well. Daniel, there's not much more I can say that. If you're a Yankees fan and you're up for them right now, that's wrong because they're playing bad baseball.
Yeah, I mean, Yankees struggling, and the Yankees unfortunately dealing with a lot of things that are out of your control. The injuries that they have had to navigate through this season has been awful for any Yankee fan to see, and obviously awful for these players to have to endure something like this, losing Garrett Cole before the season even got going, and then, having Luke Weaver, your closer, at certain times not available, Giancarlo Stanton at DH not available, Aaron Judge at certain times not available, other pitchers not available. I mean, this has really been a struggling season for the Yankees that was supposed to be so promising. They're coming off a World Series berth.
It's not Aaron Boone's fault. Aaron Boone and his family played the game for years. He's not out there taking shortstop. He's not out there batting cleanup. He's not out there playing. His players are not playing. They love playing for the guy because he's a player's manager, a player's coach, just like Mike Vrabel for the Patriots. He's a player's coach. That's what Aaron Boone is. He's a player's manager, but he's not playing the game anymore, and his players aren't either.
Yeah, well, and I'll say this: you say it's not Aaron Boone's fault. Guess who else's fault? We now know it's not. Bud Black of the Rockies, because they stink so much more since he left.
Bud Black.
So
he's the best.
Bud Black.
Bud Black was a good pitcher, man. Let me tell you. I don't know what happened over there, but look, you got to have players. I mean, let's face it. Yeah. I mean, they get 26 players, and half of those are pitchers. So you got 13 players that play positions, and 4 of them are going to be on the bench. You better have 9. You better have 13 really good players.
Yeah, so, I mean, we all know now, and it was not Bud Black's fault, folks, and he was one of 4 managers that have been let go this season. The Pirates did it, the Rockies did it, the Orioles did it, and the Nationals did it. And so, we'll see if this happens anymore here before the season lets out, but Major League Baseball of 162 games is over 110 games in. And we are, like we said, looking at how these standings are when it comes to the wild card and who will be where. And will some of these teams surprise you in a good way? Maybe some of them will surprise you in a not so good way. I do want to make a note here. Shohei Ohtani got his 1,000th hit on a home run. Let's just get into this. This Shohei Ohtani, again, he's an alien. He's not a human. For those of you that are wondering, do aliens exist? My big brother's fiance looked me dead in the face, expressionless, and said, yes. She terrified me because the way she responded, Diana, the way that she responded sounded like she had information that I didn't have. But she told me, no, it's just my personal opinion. Well, guess what? My personal opinion is that Shohei Ohtani is an alien, and I'm going to tell you why. Again, Shohei Ohtani pitched 4 dominant innings, alien, in what qualified as his best start this season, during which he struck out 8 batters. He also clobbered his 39th home run, registered his 1,000th career hit in the process. Insane. Now, a 2-run lead heading into the final 4 innings turned into a 5-3 defeat to a listless St. Louis Cardinals team that happened Wednesday afternoon. Now, let's get into this here. Let's get into Shohei Ohtani. Ohtani took the mound 7 days after exiting a start early because of cramping in his right hip, emphatically put concerns about his health to rest, allowing only 2 base runners, one on an infield pop-up that Rojas lost in the sun to begin the third inning, and the other on a bunt single that allowed a runner to score. Ohtani came to bat in the bottom half and gave himself a lead, launching a 109.5 mile per hour 2-run home run to the opposite field to make him the third Japanese-born player after Ichiro Suzuki and Hideki Matsui to reach the 1,000-hit milestone. He then took the mound again in the fourth, struck out the side, lowering his ERA to 2.37. 2.37 ERA, something that the Rockies haven't seen since 1902. So let's take a look at this. So through the 10 innings, 2.37 ERA, and what qualified as his 8th start since returning from a second repair of his ulnar collateral ligament, Ohtani averaged a career-high 98.7 mile per hour with his fastball, according to ESPN's research, 6 of which clocked in at 100 miles an hour. The Dodgers held a 3-2 lead with 2 on and 2 out in the 8th, then put together a brutal sequence that cost them the game. But again, Shohei Ohtani, okay, in one game, he homers, he gets his 1,000th career hit, and he strikes out 8. Who does that? No one. 8 strikeouts, home run, career 1,000th hit to become only the third Japanese-born player to ever do it in Major League Baseball. This man is insane. Again, alien, not from this earth. And I'm not saying it in a bad way. Whatever planet that Shohei Ohtani is from, maybe he's the 39th best player on his planet. But in America, he is the best. PJ, what can you say about a guy who strikes out 8, gets his 1,000th hit, and bangs a homer all in the same outing?
I'm looking for him to stretch out here very soon, Daniel. I want to see him stretch out 5 innings, 6 innings, and maybe get a chance for a win instead of just going 2 innings here, 3 innings here, 4 innings here. I know what Dave Roberts is doing. He's doing the right thing. He's allowing him to pitch every week another inning until he gets comfortable. If this guy can still bring it at 100 miles an hour in the 5th or 6th inning, he indeed is alien. But I'm looking for him to go deeper into the game and perhaps maybe, don't say it, complete a game? A pitcher complete game? That's foreign right there. No, he's an extraordinary player, and he deserves everything that he gets. But I do want to see him stretched out a little bit. Next week, maybe, when he's listed, maybe he'll get 5 innings.
Yeah, we'll see what happens here. But we got a message from Jerry, said you can't fire the team, going back and speaking about the Yankees. But I was like, you can trade them away because the Orioles have done something of that nature. The Orioles having a fire sale this season. So, we shall see what these Yankees end up doing, and hopefully Aaron Boone can figure it out. But you're right, PJ, to the point that you brought up, it feels like people are looking at Aaron Boone almost like he's still a player, and get rid of him. He's not doing well. It's like, well, he's not in the field. Now, he makes decisions, right? He's got to make lineup calls and who he wants out there and who's. So, I mean, he does make decisions when we're talking about playing chess, but ultimately, he's not on the field. And again, like Bud Black, when you look at someone like Bud Black, that's a guy who the Rockies go, you got to leave. We got to figure this out without you. And the Rockies have figured out far less, arguably, since he left. So we'll see what happens as we step forward. PJ here with us, and we appreciate you as always, giving us baseball talk and so much more. Make sure, if MT's within an earshot right now, MT, I got my cross chain, but I used to have a number 21, and I lost it when I was working at Disney. So when you go out to the jewelry store today, make sure they can make a 21 and just add it to your order, but don't tell Papa Joe because he owes you one.
I'll give her the muscle car.
And PJ, I will say this, PJ. I hope your ears were ringing because I was talking to I was talking to 2 car guys yesterday, John Fratto from Avicoli's and Jay Cartini from Carvel DeWitt, and I showed them your new vehicle, And we had, I talked to them about you and your love for it, and gave them a little show of your Malibu that you sent over to me. So we were talking about you yesterday.
Oh, good. It's a beautiful car.
Well,
and it's very, very fast.
I'm excited to drive it. I look forward to talking with you soon.
Okay.
And
see you later.
Stay safe, and please stay cool down there.
Okay.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
See you. That comment from Papa Joe here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. We're going to take a quick step aside for a fast break, and when we come back, we'll have Tim Lester on the broadcast right here on Wake Up Call. Stay with us.
Hi, this is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating at 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and always online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, order anywhere, anytime at maandpaspopcorn.com. Stop in to get a tin at Ma and Pa's on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York to get your half-price refills for the rest of your life. Come to Ma and Pa's for your holiday gift giving for family, friends, employees, and clients. And remember, for fundraising and events, to call 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily, and we bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have in any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
And a welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. We appreciate you being here with us Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern time, and very excited to have this next guest on the broadcast here with me, someone who is no stranger to the show. We are picture in picture with Tim Lester. I've known this guy for about, I feel like 47 years, but happy to have him here with me. We met when he was at Syracuse doing a million different things, right? Quarterbacks, tight ends, offensive coordinator, all this stuff. And we have seen him move on and have a bunch of great work in many different places. He is with us with the Iowa Hawkeyes as offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach heading into the 25-26 season. Mr. Lester, how are we doing?
I'm doing great, Dan. How are you, man?
I'm doing very well. I'm having a good time. I like that as soon as we brought you on and had you in the queue, I heard you're like, is this a commercial? So,
yeah. I was like, I think this is a commercial. I didn't know if it was live or not.
So happy to have you back. I know it's been a minute. The most important question that I have for you today is, how is your family doing? How are those kids? How's the significant other? That is more important than anything else.
Yeah, they're great. I mean, moving to Iowa. Obviously, my oldest Quinn, he's moved on. He's 26. He's having a great volleyball. He's actually on Team USA for the volleyball. So they're living. He lives with his fiance out in Anaheim. They travel all over to play international volleyball, and lives in Poland and plays professionally there. And my other two starting high school football this year.
Yeah.
And then I still got one going to be in 8th grade. So it'll be a fun fall of my first, varsity football with one of my kids. And then obviously the Iowa Hawkeyes. So it'll be fun. It's a great place to live here in Iowa.
Yeah, and like you said, having kids that are all out there doing their thing. Are you the dad that's like, you've been in football forever, you know what football's about, you know the good parts of football, and you know that football also has its other sides to it. It's a high contact sport and whatnot. Did you lead toward? Did you lead away? Did you not say anything and say, hey, y'all are going to figure it out on your own?
I'm a say nothing
Okay.
guy. I just want them to be passionate about whatever they do. Right? I don't care what the sport is. I've learned more about volleyball than I ever thought I would. I'm starting to understand the game as Quinn's a setter. And he kind of tells me he's kind of the quarterback out there, so I get to learn a little bit about what he's seeing. And actually, this year's International Volleyball Nations League, they played one of their stops. They were in Rio, they were in Japan. One of their stops was Chicago.
Yeah.
So I got to go watch them play live, which was really cool for me. And so I just like to, I want them to be passionate about what they do. And if it happens to be football, I try to stay out of it as much as I can. But it's going to be a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed it. And I think the first game's in a couple of weeks. So I don't know what that's going to be like because Quinn never played. My oldest never played football. So it'll be fun to see these guys, Cooper and Carter, give it a shot.
Yeah, no, it'll definitely be exciting to see what happens here in that world. And then in your world, continued to the college football side of things. You and I have spoken with you being in Iowa. We talked last season, but taking a look at this season and really just football in general, you and I have spoken about building relationships. You and I are still talking today because of the importance of not being transactional and focusing on relationships. I still remember information that you gave me ahead of time and said, hey, don't say anything. There was something that came out. I'm not going to say what team. I'm not going to say what it was or anything like that. But you told me something in February. You said, don't say anything till August. So here we are in July, and I had kept my mouth shut, and somebody else in the media who doesn't care about relationships put it out. And then I ended up putting it out, and some random person goes, well, here's Dan Tortora again, 8th to the story. He's never the first person. And I'm sitting here going, well, I can't tell you that I knew 7 months ago, but we talk about the importance of building relationships and not being transactional. And you and I have trusted each other for a long time. How do you as a coach continue to put relationship at the forefront in a college football world that has gotten more transactional?
Yeah, it's hard. And I think it starts obviously with our head football coach. I mean, Coach Ferentz is, probably the greatest individual person I've met as far as just he's calm. He has great relationships with the players. These players play for him. They come here to play for him. And it's hard though. It is very important having been in the NFL and in college, the two are blending quickly. Yeah. And I just think there's some things that there's going to be some programs in college that make some decisions that's going to really hurt them. But we have a great model in the NFL model. You got to have a general manager. You got to keep the money and the football separate. It's the only way to get through a season, to ride the highs and the lows, is to keep those position rooms sacred and about football and about the sport, whatever sport it is, right?
Yeah.
Because as soon as money gets into the position room, you're in trouble. I mean, it's not – people are going to learn that here this fall. And so obviously Coach was in the NFL for a long time. The former general manager, Scott Pioli, has been helping us for a couple of years now. They're good friends. And, so he's done a great job of running the program. Obviously it's Iowa, right? It's kind of old school. It hasn't changed much. And we've been able to hold on to the culture and the relationship part of building a culture. And it's the most important thing. And hopefully we can hold on to it.
Yeah, you like you said, it's old school. There's a guy on the coaching staff, and I don't know if I have seen this coaching title. I don't know if I've ever seen this coaching title because it's two jobs that you typically don't see a lot of people give emphasis and credit to. Definitely one of them you don't see. But Coach Hodge, tight ends and fullbacks coach. The fact that there's actually a line there that says fullback with the tight end. Why? I mean, you said Iowa's kind of old school. Why is that so important? And what can you say about the work that Coach Hodge does? Because we almost never hear about the fullback anymore.
Yeah, and it's funny because we've kind of blended the two positions into one position. Sometimes they're playing a fullback position, sometimes they're playing a tight end. Some would argue that the second tight end position is basically a fullback because he moves all over the place now. And the other unique thing about Coach Hodge is, I mean, he was one of the meanest, baddest linebackers in the NFL for a long time. I mean, I think he broke someone's face mask when he was with the Packers. Like he is a physical, specimen, and so for me as the offensive coordinator, it's a blessing to have a guy with that much defensive knowledge, right? We got to help him with the offensive knowledge, and he's been around it long enough that he's picking up offense really well. But as far as what they're doing, having a guy that can tell you exactly what that linebacker is told, exactly what he's looking at, I mean, it's unbelievable. And he's an alum, right? There's a ton of alum running around here that are part of the program, that are part of building the culture, and then they come back and work here. And, it's such a unique place. I mean, Coach is going into his 27th year. Our D coordinator, I think, is going into his 27th year here. Our linebacker coach is like 17, 18. Our special teams coordinator is like 15. So I'm going in year 2, so I'm the rookie. But it's fun to be around so many people that are ingrained in what we're doing. And it's definitely, like I said, a unique situation.
Hindsight 2020, with you being, like you said, one of the new birds here for the Hawkeyes, why did you pick Iowa? We've seen you with the Green Bay Packers. We've seen you in different schools, different conferences. We have seen you in the Big Ten before. Why specifically Iowa?
Well, obviously the opportunity to work for Coach Ferentz was special. I had the chance to stay in the NFL and be a quarterback coach, which I really enjoyed. Whether it was Green Bay or LA with the Rams, or come here and have a chance, to really run an offense and to bring the Shanahan system to the college level. And not a lot of teams are running it. So it was, I think it's a great fit for what we do on defense. And, obviously I think there's more. This is going to sound crazy.
Okay.
But I do think there's more longevity in college coaching than there is in NFL. Because in NFL, it's great because you get hired and fired. If you win, you move on, you get a job. If you lose, you get fired really fast. And you can win a Super Bowl and get fired the next year. That's just the way it works. So obviously my kids are in high school, having a chance to learn from Coach and hopefully be here, a long time and let my kids go through high school. And that was a huge part of deciding, this level, this place is the best fit for my family.
Could have coached Jordan Love, could have coached Matt Stafford, decide to coach these quarterbacks in Iowa. I'm looking at your room. I'm looking at your room right now, and I'm just going through some names here, and I know different guys, different situations, different amount of experience, but when it comes to the quarterbacks on the Iowa roster, we have Hank Brown from Nashville, Jackson Stratton from Mission Bay, California, Mark Gronowski from Naperville, Illinois, so not too far away. We have Jimmy Sullivan from Fort Wayne, Indiana. We have Jeremy Heklinski from Marietta, Georgia. I know Marietta well. And then we have Ryan Fitzgerald from Northfield, Illinois. So bring me into the quarterback room. I just named off 6 guys here. What is that world looking like for a guy who has coached a lot of quarterbacks and has had the NFL and collegiate experience?
Yeah, it's awesome. I love this room. When I got here a year ago, I got here in February. We lost with the Packers. We lost in the divisional round, so I didn't get here till February. So we didn't really get to bring much with us in year one. Everyone in the court, it took a year to kind of revamp the room, kind of flip the room. Jackson Stratton came last July. He's my veteran. That's been here a year now. Everyone else is new. Obviously, Mark Gronowski's doing a great job. He's won 2 national championships and was the 1AA Player of the Year. think he's 46-5 as a starter or something like that. So just that experience in the room is huge. Could have came out to the NFL this year, decided to play his one last year. Hank Brown came in here from Auburn, and he's done a great job. He was here in the spring. We got Jeremy Hecklinski. He got on the portal, I think, after spring ball. He had a coaching change, weird deal down in Wake Forest. But he was the player of the year in the state of Georgia offensively a couple of years ago. So, and then obviously Stratton was the only one that was here last year. And we had 3 or 4 quarterbacks get injured. So he had to start our last 2 games and went 2-0. Did a good job. And then I got my 2 freshmen. Jimmy's doing a good job. Ryan's the son of Pat Fitzgerald, former Northwestern coach. So he's a real live football player, knows football. So, but it's a great room, but it took time, thank God for the portal. I don't know how, in the past you'd go somewhere and until you got your guys really in the system, it would take 3, 4, 5 years to even get to change a room.
Yeah.
And here we did it in about, year and a half. We got a whole new room. And it's the frustrating part for me, obviously, is that they're all new. The rest of the offense is in year 2, which is a huge difference. When they know what they're doing, they can play fast. So it's fun to surround those quarterbacks. Obviously, Mark's got a ton of experience with guys that know what they're doing, and they're in year 2 of running a system. Year 1, you're just kind of holding on.
Yeah.
Every time you run a play, it's the first time we've run that play. And so it's going to be a lot of fun. We're kind of trying to sharpen the sword and get ready for a tough schedule.
And you spoke about, you said, thank God for the portal. Not everybody's saying that, but you said you said it, and I understand the reasoning because you're bringing in people that have had experience, and when you have, like you had mentioned, Mark Gronowski, who comes in from South Dakota State, having won multiple titles, and we know what they could do at the FCS level. I mean, that's huge. And Hank Brown, as you mentioned, coming in from Auburn, and then Jeremy with the late move that he makes. The portal can be a good thing, but here's my question to you as a coach that I've known for a long time, and it feels like you and I met each other back in the Stone Ages of college football because there was no portal and there was no NIL and there was no conference that had 2,400 miles between rivals within a conference or, a conference opponent. So my question to you, when we look at how things are right now, for a coach who is training and teaching and a coordinator who is running an offense, when should the portal be open? Should it be 1 time, 2 times? Because right now we have a portal that opens at the end of the regular season during the bowl season, which can affect your bowl season. It can affect your college football playoff if you're within it and what the team looks like trying to win a postseason game. And then it opens after the spring game. So you could be coaching, let's say in your room, you're coaching a bunch of quarterbacks, right? And you're a coordinator as well. So let's say, after the spring game, you have 6 quarterbacks, you lose 3 of them. So now you got half your quarterbacks, you lose your top running back, you lose your second wide receiver and your top tight end and a couple linemen. Now you, in the spring here, going into April, are trying to figure things out to be ready for July. I'd love to get your thoughts on a longtime coach of when the portal should be open and what's going on, because like you said, thank God for it when it works out for you, but when it works against you, you're recruiting in April.
Yeah, it's tough. I think that part, and I don't really know if I have an opinion on that yet. I definitely think 1 would be better than 2. NFL free agency, there's 1, right? And when it happens, it happens. And once you know your team, you can start building a team and put a better product on the field in the fall, right? Which is what we all want. And so I don't know which one's better, though. Is it a winter portal or is it a spring portal? Whatever one it is, they're talking about if they have only a spring portal, letting us do more OTAs in the summer, which will, you can shorten spring practice and have some practices in the summer to get those guys ready, So I definitely think it's going to eventually go to 1. Anytime we get in these situations, right? I mean, history repeats itself. So anytime we get in unique situations, I just look at the NFL because that's where we're trending. And they have 1. So that's why if I don't have a strong opinion over something, and I obviously want college football to work and be the best product we can put on the field, I normally lean towards, well, what does the NFL have? They have 1. It makes sense. they have a chance to leave and do what they want to do. I also think with the portal, it goes right back to what you were talking about. If you're coaching and you have a relationship with your players, I think the portal is a good thing. I think that we had one guy leave on the portal this year who I love the kid, and he was in a tough situation, and we had a ton of long talks about it, and he was crying, and I gave him a hug, and I'm happy where he's at, and I'm rooting for him. I think he's in a great place for him because I care about the kid, and and obviously we're lucky we don't have a ton of people on the portal. I think we're one of the lowest every year because we want people that want to be here.
Yeah.
And like I said, with coaches that do it different ways, there's gonna be a lot of programs which I think that were up that are gonna be down, and there'll be some really interesting locker room situations because you got the NFL locker room is a unique place, and the money makes it very interesting, and so it's gonna be interesting to see how each of the coaches handle that because it will be a first time thing unless they've been in a place like the NFL somewhere.
Yeah.
But I definitely think that I think there'll be one eventually. I don't know, but everyone has the school. They always go back to the school part. Like, hey, we start school here, and the winter one won't work, and the spring one's better as we push college football into January more. Maybe spring's the way to go. I think I would lean towards spring right now. That's the great part about my job, Dan. All I got to do is I got to try to score points. Yeah. I don't have to worry about any of that stuff. I have a very singular purpose.
Yeah.
I've been a head coach for many years, and right now I can stay in my lane and do my job, and it's a great place to be.
Well, yeah, and you've been a coordinator and then a head coach and now a coordinator. We've seen in the world that we live in that there are guys that will leave being a head coach to be a coordinator. What are your thoughts in today's college football climate about head coach versus coordinator? Like you said, I have one job. I have to score points. That's my focus.
Yeah, and it's fun, and it's a rewarding job, and you're in the meeting room every day with the players. So not that head coaches can't have – I mean, I'm with the guy that probably has the best relationship with his players that I've been around as a head coach and coach parents. But it's just easier when you're in the meeting room with them every day, laughing and joking and coaching. And so I really enjoy that part. I don't think – you can really be a head coach anymore unless you have unbelievable people around you. If you want to still, be away from the, all the fundraising and all the stuff that goes on the plate of a head coach. If you want to still do football and spend time with your staff and spend time with your players, you really got to have, I think those, like the front offices and the GMs, I mean, you're going to see a huge spike in, you got to find a good one. Because that allows the coach to actually coach football and be a head football coach. There are a lot of head coaches across the world that are doing so many things that they just don't have the time. I had a coach that used to say, how do you spell love? And it was TIME. It's time. Like, you got to spend time with the things you love. That's where you spend your time, right? And there's just not enough time in the day for some of these head coaches to do what they really, I think, want to do. Yeah. If you can hire a good staff around you, recruiting staff, obviously general managers, eventually we're going to have scouts, all the people that do the ops, the equipment. I mean,
played right into something because you said a word. You said the word spike. And when you said that word spike, I was already thinking about, you said, I have one job, it's to score points. Well, if people remember one of the greatest comebacks in college football history, the fake spike, you had that up your sleeve for a long time. I told you, I was on the edge of my seat watching that game live. And I think I texted you, or I think I called you after that game. And I'm like, I know he's on the field. I know he's got like a bunch of things going on. Probably can't even hear his phone, but I'm going to leave him a message. And we eventually talked. But I don't want you to tell me, because I, unlike most of the media, am not looking for the story where you just want to get something. I'm for the relationship. So I don't want you to tell me because I want you to be able to use it. But do you have other things up the Lester sleeve that I can get on the edge of my seat for this year?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I mean, it really comes down to, and that's a key to coordinating, right? And I said it, did an interview a couple weeks ago. When you have a quarterback that's trained correctly, in my opinion, then it's fun being a coordinator, man, because you are literally hunting. I mean, you are calling shot after shot after shot, and you got a ton of them up your sleeve.
Yeah.
As long as you have a guy out there that you know that when we don't get the right look, is just going to check it down. We have a word here called positive football play. That's what we need to have at the end of every play. Even I might call it triple pass, double pass, back and forth. Could be a unique situation on 3rd and long or at the end of the game, a fake spike. It's still a play you got to execute, and if that's not there, his job is to throw it away and we have another play afterwards. And that's really the key. When you have your quarterback where you can call it that way,
Yeah.
and you get the look and we're hitting big plays and you don't get the look, most quarterbacks, I can tell you right now, most quarterbacks, when you call that unique play and you get the wrong look, they don't play what they run 70% of the time. They play one of their one-off coverages, right? Got 30%, 10%, 5% coverage. That might cover the play. If most quarterbacks get so excited to call that play or to run that play, they're throwing it up in a double coverage. Like, that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
And it turns into a turnover. And when you have that quarterback that you can be loose and just fire all your bullets, and he's going to make sure that's not the look, can out of it or check down and go get 5, 6, 7 yards on the check down because they didn't play what we thought they were going to play, that is when you can have a lot of fun as a play caller, and like I said, that one play, I wore 13 my whole life. I was a huge Dan Marino fan, and his fake spike, I think it's against the Jets. So I've had that in, 17 years of coaching, I think, when we finally ran it. And they executed it well. They didn't even cover the guy, which I thought there'd at least be a one-on-one matchup, but it was a one-on-none to win the game. And kudos to those guys for executing three. But I've been 17 years of calling it in practice on air all the time, and it finally hit in the only bad part about that was it was COVID. There was like 7 people in the stands. But it was on television, so I know a lot of people saw it at home. But the atmosphere in the stadium was not. I could probably just scream the name of the play, and my quarterback would have heard me on the field because there weren't a lot of people there.
Well, and like you said, you had the play for so long. How do you know? Is it? With all the preparation that you do, and all the scheming that you do, and all the film that you watch, all of the things that have to do with like the science of football. Does it really come down to, still with most things in life, a gut? Is it just the gut feeling of saying, like you said, I've ran it on air, ran it 17 years in practice, but I decided to run it at this time. Do you just get to a point where you say, I've done the research, I've looked at the math, I've done the science, but when it comes to actually physically calling the play, it just has to be a gut reaction?
I think so. And you look at what's happening building up to that, right? I remember there's one year, Jake Moreland was with me at Western Michigan, and he was calling the plays. Western Michigan's one of those places where I had to do so many things. It was almost impossible. I was trying to call plays, and I was calling plays when we ran the fake spike. But, Jake called plays one year, and it was a great year. And I was able to just jump in when my gut pinged, and I'd be like, hey, it's time for the double move, and we'd call it. And it was great because it let me manage a game, let him call an unbelievable game. And when my 20 years of calling plays, when the hair on the back of your neck stands up, and I'd be like, hey, this is the time. And I'd probably call 5-6 plays a game, and hopefully if I'm right, they're big ones, when you start seeing the way that the secondary is playing, get a feel for what the coordinator's thinking. That is, when you actually call it, is still a little bit gut. The other thing is, a lot of people going for it on 4th down now. And sometimes you just follow the numbers, but you also have to have an idea of what's going on in the game. If they're D-line, before you go into a game, like the book says our O-line is going to do this to your D-line, it doesn't mean that's going to happen, right? We might be dominating the line of scrimmage on 4th and 1. We might be getting beat up front. And if it's a 4th and 2 and the book says go for it and we have minus 50 yards rushing in the first quarter and it's the second quarter, I'm probably punting. It's if we're not playing well. So it has to be the human element. That's what's great about sports, right? Is there some science that could really help you make, in an even game where everything's, you can kind of figure out what you're doing. You can play the numbers to try to put yourself in the best position to win. But there has to be the human element of what is actually going on in this game. You can't really print what's going to happen in a game before the game when you have the book of when you should go, when you shouldn't. And so there still has to be a human element to it, which is what makes all sports, which makes it the best.
Yeah, no, and I agree. I mean, AI and robots can't do everything, right? So before
They
we
can help, though.
they can help. Yeah.
Yeah.
Before we jump into rapid fire, you mentioned the fact that people come to Iowa to play for this coach, and when you have somebody that people want to be around in a world that has become so transactional, and you talked about Kirk Ferentz and what he does as a head coach. I'm looking at the depth chart for the Iowa Hawkeyes going into this season, and I have looked at plenty of depth charts over these last few days that have a lot of orange in them. And orange is the color of transfer for the one that I'm looking at here. Well, yours is blue everywhere. There's all blue on the defensive side. There's all blue in special teams. And outside of Gronowski, I'm looking at when it looks like the starting on the offensive, it's all blue. So we're looking at a team that has not only returnees, but returnees that are capable of starting, and a team that, unlike any other team I've looked at for this season, does not have a ton of change. I mean, there's certain teams that have almost an entire offensive line full of transfers and redshirt senior transfers of just moving guys in and saying, like an NFL expansion team, like the Houston Texans in 2002,
Yeah.
we're going to bring a bunch of vets in that have never played together before and hope for the best. So to be on a team where offense, defense, and special teams is featuring guys that were there last year, guys that can start, guys that have started, what does that do for the Iowa Hawkeyes to maybe fly under the radar, but to be a team that has continuity, which is something that is kind of a foreign thing right now?
Yeah, right? I mean, it's funny because you look in the NFL and you look at the continuity of, I mean, even when changing quarterbacks in Green Bay or in Buffalo or Kansas City, with just the certain players that have that relationship, that when it's critical situations that they know what the next guy's going to do, right? And we went out and, we got a lineman and we got a wideout and we got a quarterback just because we needed to shore up a couple rooms. I think on D-line we went out and got 2 D linemen and a DB or 2 just to add to the mix, and very low percentages. We didn't have a lot of guys get on either, so we didn't have a lot of spots open up. So when you I think, like you said, when you use the portal as a way to build your team and enhance your team, not to make a team.
Yeah.
Right. And it's hard when you make a team. I mean, you look at the very first pick in the first round of the NFL draft. He came out of college and went to Incarnate Word in Cam Ward.
Yeah.
I think the first pick of the second round went to UCLA to be I heard he's really smart. He's a really good player. He got after us last year. He's linebacker, first pick of the second round. He went to be like some NASA scientist and then walked onto the football team. So it's an inexact science. So that's the hard part. If you want to build it, if you want to make your whole team off of the portal, you just have to be right. And how many teams can even get the first round draft pick right in the NFL? And those guys, you get to meet with them, you get to train them, you get to work them out. And so you're rolling the dice when you do things like that, and so obviously having the amount of continuity we have, and for me it's huge, me personally, because it's year 2, right? So we're in a totally different place right now in training camp than we were a year ago, because people know what they're doing. We're talking about how to do it and how to do it better and how to do it in this coverage and how to, what angle, where, because before it was just learning. Everyone was learning, coaches too. So yeah, the continuity when you're looking at teams, and we're going to learn so much about how the portal and how the rev share affects college. We won't know till the end of the year, but it is definitely a good feeling to have so much continuity and so much returners, and because you have a lot more knowledge in who you have, how they're going to play, and if you can use the portal to fix a couple places or a couple rooms or a couple injuries, whether you're thin in one place or the other. It definitely feels good going into a season with some of that, because some teams have none of it and they're just hoping and praying, right?
Yeah, and like you said, having that continuity is great, especially when you don't want to have to share your message for the first time ever at Iowa and then have to share it again and then have to share and just keep feeling like you're on a different team even though you're in the same place. But the one thing that is different is what we had been talking about with Gronowski and Hank Brown and obviously Jack Stratton and whatnot. So what can you tell us about, as we head into this season, what the quarterback situation looks like? Because with so much continuity on offense, we're still looking at the fact that there's newness in the quarterback room, and you obviously bring people in for, the opportunity for competition and to potentially play, and you got a champion, a national champion that's right there for you that wasn't there last year.
Yeah, I have, the guys we brought in, we have a 6-year senior. We have a redshirt sophomore and a redshirt freshman. So Hank's a redshirt sophomore. He's got 3 years left, and Hekalinsky has 4. And then obviously, Mark only has 1 left. So, Mark's taken the majority of the reps, but I've played Hank with the ones quite a bit. It's competition. The one thing about this place is you're not going to be handed anything. You got to go out there and compete. We actually practiced last night. It was an intense under the lights. All 3 did some really good things, and so it's going to be a great competition. Obviously, Mark's played 55 college football games or something like that, so he's got a wealth of experience. Hank started a couple games for Auburn last year, so he's got a little bit of experience. So it's a good position to be in. I like the room. I like that they're competing. I think they all get along, and so it's going to be a great. We're still only 1 week into a 3-week competition, but I like where we're at.
Yeah, and that open competition can only make you better. I know fans want to know yesterday who the quarterback's going to be, and I was like, I like it. Like, from my point of view in my seat, and I told you, like, I like being a student of the game. So I said, media-wise, like, yes, I'm happy to be there and wear my badge and whatnot, but I said, I want to go to a camp where there's a competition, because I want to watch the quarterback competition, and I'm seeing that. I'm seeing it in Syracuse. You have it at Iowa, and, the competition, I think, breeds great opportunity and potential success. Speaking of success, I do want to get to this before we go to rapid fire. The Iowa Hawkeyes finished in the top 6 last season in the Big Ten. By the way, time to change the name, Big Ten. You have 18 schools. And so, and I came up with a way to change it, and it only involves 1 letter. Instead of the Big Ten, hear me out, we have like something that looks like a roof, right? We have a thing that looks like a roof, very simple, and we call it the Big Tent.
Tent. All right. Big Tent.
Because there's 18. Now, you finished in the top third of it. I know you want to win a title. I know every team's out there to do more than just finish in the top whatever, but to a conference that has so many teams and that has added 4 teams from the West Coast, coming off of last year, what do you look to and what can you build upon from last season, being in the top 6 with Ohio State that won the national championship, with Oregon that was the only undefeated team of 134 FBS schools going into the postseason, to be the Iowa Hawkeyes and to be in the upper portion of this conference last season? What can that do as we head into this season?
Yeah, I think there's, we let a couple games get away from us last year, and winnable games late in the game that we did not do a good job. So we have a lot of stuff that we need to work on to close the gap. Obviously, it's a small gap being at 6. A couple more wins and it's a different ball game. And but we're going to be challenged. I mean, we have a great home slate. Coming to Kinnick Stadium's an unbelievable place to watch football game. These fans they're nuts. It's awesome. And so we got Oregon coming in. Penn State's going to be a great team. They're coming into town as well. And Indiana, another playoff team's coming in. I think we have 3 playoff teams all coming here, from last year. So it's going to be a challenge. It's going to be fun. We don't play those teams like the middle and late in the season. Obviously, we have another 10-win team in Iowa State in week 2. So it's not going to be easy. It never is, but this is the best time of year, right? Like, as far as I know, you got media guys, they're talking about this season. Like, we have 3 more weeks or 2.5 more weeks of camp where there's, they're not driving cars and we don't have cell phones and it's just football, it's trying to build this team to be resilient enough to go through at the Big Ten schedule, which is never going to be easy. We did play Ohio State last year. They're not on our roster, but we added Penn State and Oregon. So, and USC, we go to USC. So it's going to be a heck of a challenge. And We just got to continue to get better than we were last year. We got to be better in close games. Going first year of the offense, I mean, we doubled scoring and we cut turnovers in half, and we did a lot of good things, but there's so much more that we need to get to where we want to go. So really just dialing into those things right now, and then hopefully just taking it 1 week at a time. I know that's cliche, but it's the truth. Of how you get to the top.
You said they're not driving cars and they don't have cell phones. What do you mean by that?
Well, we stay right across the street, so they don't drive cars during camp. They just walk across the street here, and then in the meetings, they don't have cell phones. They're here all day. So we do ball. The camp's like the greatest time. Like, it's like the one time. There's still distraction. I'm sure they get on their phone at night, but they're pretty much exhausted by the time they're back in their rooms.
Yeah.
It's one of those things you do bed check, and you're like 99% of the rooms you check, and everyone's out. My kids are going through high school training camp, and I've gone home and they're always sleeping. I want to hear how it went, and they're out. I'm like, wait a minute, it's 10 o'clock. They're always up at 10. No, they're out. So it's a really unique, pure time of year, where it's all ball, no school.
Yeah.
Just dialed in, trying to build a culture and actually build upon a culture, I should say here. And it's a fun time to just stay in the moment, because it doesn't happen much, because then school starts and games start and the schedule changes, and that's all fun. That's great too. But there's a purity to training camp that's a lot of fun as a football coach. If you love ball and relationships and just spending time with people, we get to spend the most time right now. So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, like you said, no distraction, just focus, all football. Tim Lester here with us on Wake Up Call inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Time to do what we've done for over a decade, rapid fire. Go ahead and put me on the hot seat, Tim. What do you got?
For you?
Yeah.
Well, tell me, I'm going to ask you a Syracuse question.
Okay.
Favorite restaurant in Syracuse?
Great way to get me in trouble. So.
Oh, okay. I don't want to do that. Your favorite Italian restaurant?
So I will say that last night I just went to Avicoli's.
Okay.
And I love Avicoli's, and I have leftovers, which I'm so excited about. So I do vodka sauce, tortellini, chicken, and meatball, mix that all together and have myself a little party. So I do like me some Avicoli's, I will say that.
Hey buddy, I've lived a lot of places, and the food in that city, I mean, all the different places, all the different types of food, all of them, family-owned restaurants. It is. I tell people all the time, I grew up in the Midwest, and I feel like only the chains, kept coming across as we populated this country east to west.
Yeah.
But man, living in Syracuse, me and my wife talk about. I mean, there's just so many places. Like, there's not enough, and they're all unique in their own way. And man, when I think of Syracuse, obviously I think of the snow sometimes. But man, the people and the food, it's just such a cool place. And I've never been in the Northeast. My wife grew up in Long Island, so she's used to it. For her, she was just going home. But for me, it was such a unique place with unbelievable people and food. It's crazy. I'm not even a big foodie, but it's hard not to be when you're there, because every place is so unique.
I'm going to cut that out, clip it, and send it to every local restaurant in Syracuse. I love that. So I have my own sundae at Carvel DeWitt. I have my own breakfast sandwich at it's the Q Smack Mother that is over at Mother's Cupboard. So if Tim Lester was to have his own dish, be it a dessert or a meal, what is the Tim Lester?
It would be a breakfast sandwich. Okay. I had one in Kalamazoo, actually, and it'd be it'd have to be a Northeast, like New York bagel, which are hard to find anywhere but New York. It would be the bagel. It'd have the couple fried eggs on it, and it would have the bacon on it. And I don't know, I'm pretty simple here. I don't really get too crazy, because it's more about the quality of the ingredients. Yep. The quality of the bagel, the quality of the eggs, thick bacon, maybe even like maple bourbon bacon, and that would be it. I mean, you could put some avocado, you could put some other things on there if you want to make it sound better.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I would keep it simple, just because I want a bagel right now from New York. So That's probably would be, or either that, or it'd have to be some type of pizza. It would just be some type of New York sausage, Italian sausage, pepperoni, some kind of meat lovers that I would go there. Those are my two go-tos.
It sounds like I need to come out to Iowa and I have to come out with a box of something. So,
Bagel, great.
no, listen, I got a spot. So I cover New York Comic Con for Superpowered Pop, my entertainment show. And I have a bagel. I'm not telling anybody what it is, but I have a bagel spot. I'll tell you off the air, but I have a bagel spot and I go there in the morning. I went there so much last year's Comic Con, they probably thought I was a local. And I was like, I got the egg everything bagel with, the cinnamon raisin walnut cream cheese, or I get a bacon, egg, and cheese on the egg everything, but I got to get an egg bagel, got to have that. And that was my morning. It was like, I looked for that. My day was, here's all the panels I'm going to do. Here's the things I'm going to do at the show. And here's my bagel. It was part of my daily schedule of planning. So
good.
Got to have it. What's your
so
next?
Good. Now you got me thinking about my sandwich, because I think I'm going with like a cinnamon bagel with the maple bacon.
I like maple bacon.
I married, a girl from New York. So she makes, we call them legendaries in my house. They're called legendaries, and that's her breakfast sandwiches when she makes them for everybody. Okay. And it's not always the same, but she'll use all different types of bacon. Now they're not from New York, but it's as good as we got, and it's homemade, so it's fantastic. So I would probably copy one of her recipes that she does in the morning. And my kids now just wake up and ask for legendaries, and people look at them like they're funny, and to them they're bagel sandwiches. It's hilarious.
I like that they're called legendaries, though. What's your final question for me?
Final question for you is, I know nothing. Tell me a little bit about the. I am so in a vacuum right now.
Yeah.
Are you? Because I've never asked you this question. Are you Jets? Are you Giants? Are you Bills? As a fan, not as a reporter, because you have to do your job when it comes to reporting.
Yeah.
Which is your go-to? What is your go-to team? I've never asked you that question. I don't know how that's possible.
So my go-to team has upset me off the field.
Okay.
So I'm not happy with the way that they do business, but I love the players. But if I had to choose of the one New York and two New Jersey teams, I would choose the team that physically is in the state of New York. And I will say this to Buffalo Bills fans. One of my buddies, Jeff Cook, and he's the Beeville Bills backers president, and they go to Pizza Man out in Beeville, watch all the games. He said to me, he goes, I know that you're not like a Bills fan, like you have your team, but he's like, you support us every other time, right? Like you're with us. And I've become such a Bills enthusiast that 2 years ago when Tyler Bass missed the field goal, I had an upset stomach and I wanted to cry. And that's not even coming from somebody that grew up a Bills fan. So yeah, I would say Buffalo, and I low-key right now have Washington-Buffalo Super Bowl.
Yeah, Jane Daniels is fun to watch now.
He's incredible.
He's a good player. And do you remember, side note, Scott Chandler, tight end for the Bills?
Yes.
Played for like 4 or 5. He's actually my kid's high school football coach.
That's incredible.
Yeah, so he's a monster of a man, and I remember him in the Bills uniform. But he's a local high school coach. He's from Iowa, obviously one of the many great Iowa tight ends, and a lot of them. If you marry an Iowa girl, you normally end up back in Iowa, And so there's a lot of former NFL players that live around here, and he's coaching the high school football team, and it's small world.
I love that. Well, my question back to you, because you played quarterback. If you were a quarterback right now, what NFL team would you play for? And what 3 wide receivers would you want to throw to in the current NFL?
Oh, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase. The third's a tough one. Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase are like no-brainers.
Yeah.
I would probably want to play franchise-wise. I have to. This is going to sound crazy because I worked for the Packers, played for the Bears. I would probably pick the Lions.
Okay.
I love their O-line, right? I mean, I would want to put myself behind someone that can protect me.
Yeah.
I think their O-line and their running game is just phenomenal. And then who would my third wide receiver be? I don't even know who would. I mean, would it matter? I'd probably pick like Sam Laporta. I would want a tight end.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So I would probably go Sam Laporta. He's already on my team, which is a win. And I would take Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase. We scrimmage against Jamar Chase. We obviously played twice against Justin Jefferson, and they are just different guys. Guys that demand double teams, get open, block. That team, that would be a fun team to play on because you'd have time and you'd have guys that can get open. You'd have a tight end that can stretch the field. I haven't even met Sam Laporta yet. He hasn't come back to Iowa yet. I know he has. I missed him when he came back. I can't wait to meet him. But that would be one heck of a team now. That'd be fun.
I will say this, and I don't know how it happened. In fantasy football last year, I picked Jamar Chase, or I picked Justin Jefferson, and then it came back to me in the snake draft, and I looked around the room and I was like, Jamar Chase? I don't know how I got them both. I have no idea. So I actually had a team that had them both.
Did you win the league?
And I didn't.
What?
I know. There's one team that I have, Tim. There's one league that I'm in. It doesn't matter what I do. On paper, they're amazing. I make moves when I have to make. I do all this stuff, and it's not. But if you look over my shoulder, there is 3 fantasy football championships. So I have one, but it's been a minute. So I need to figure it out. My last question for you really is not rapid fire. It's, am I allowed to come visit my friend in Iowa? You and I have talked about getting together so much, but this season, should we see if we can do the thing?
Yes, I think you need to come here. This is you got to be part of the wave at the end of the first quarter, which is a staple here. You get to be part of the tailgating festivities that happen for hours and hours before game, which looks fantastic. And then the atmosphere. I mean, you can't hear a thing in that place. These people are passionate. Reminds me of being with the Packers.
Okay.
So it's an awesome. You just need to let me know when you're coming. I will take care of the rest.
Fair enough. Well, I will be looking at this schedule, as many of you will, for the Iowa Hawkeyes, and I need to make my way out to see Tim Lester. I will not come without bagels, though. And
bring those, please.
And with that being said, as always, my friend, I have to thank you for being consistent, being kind, building relationships, and honestly, always being there whenever I reach out. There's not a lot of people that are like you consistently, and I want to thank you for that.
Well, I appreciate what you do. I appreciate our friendship. So it is fun to follow. I try to follow. I don't get on social media hardly ever, but it seems like when I do, something pops up that wherever you were in. Were you in Italy?
Yes.
By the way?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I rarely get on it for obvious reasons. I really get on it to make sure my kids aren't putting anything on it that I don't want on it.
Yeah.
But I've lived a very good couple of years not being on it. Nothing against it. It's just for me. But when I pop on, I always get a scroll. It sounds like you had one heck of a trip. I got to hear about it. I do have to run to a meeting right now, though. So I got to leave you because we're in training camp. Miss you. We'll talk soon.
I miss you, too. Go get to your meeting. Do what you got to do, and I'll look forward to talking with you, my friend.
See you, brother. Later.
Take care. That coming from Tim Lester, and I appreciate it. And we did talk about it. He was like, when are we doing the show? When are we getting on? I'm going to do a meeting right after. And he actually planned us into his day. And that's how awesome of a human being he is, because they are in the thick of it. They don't have practice today, but they do have meetings out there in Iowa. So big time appreciation and many thanks to Tim Lester for spending a ton of time with us, as he always does. And not only doing that, but like I said, putting us within his schedule. And I mean, he texted me and said, how long are we going to be on the show? Like, what are we going to do? And I'll plan out my meeting after that. So thank you to Tim for everything that he brings, and more than anything else, the friendship and that consistent, positive, awesome person in my life. Honestly, wherever he is, wherever he's coaching, he's always had me, and I've always had him from the day that we met each other. And true friendship is something that I love more than most things in this world. So we'll take a step aside for a fast break, and we will wrap up the show right after this. Thanks for being with us here inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Awesome Hour 1 with PJ on baseball, and Awesome Hour 2 with Tim Lester on football, and always talking about where sports meets life here on Wake Up Call. We'll be back right after this. Stay with us.
In these unique times, There are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville Bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you. Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
All right, you need to come out here and get yourself the Brooklyn Pickle. I was talking about this with one of my buddies. I was like, yo, there's no better sandwich in the state of New York than the Brooklyn Pickle. And now that I found out that they're going down to North Carolina, we are taking over your taste buds everywhere you are, wherever you're going to be. You need to get yourself out to the Brooklyn Pickle. Pinehurst, you just realized that you found yourself the best sandwich shop that you're ever going to have. This is a glorious moment. It's a blessing to your community. You're welcome. Brooklyn in the house, baby. Go over to the Brooklyn Pickle. You already know what it is.
You heard the man. Head to Brooklyn Pickle Pinehurst on 1788 Old Morgantown Road in Southern Pines, North Carolina.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvelange, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant.
GG Cards and Breaks. Like, comment, subscribe.
GG Cards and Breaks, coming to you on 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York, is your one-stop sports card and trading card shop. Find your way over to GG Cards and Breaks Tuesday through Saturday from 10 to 6, and on Sundays from 10 to 5. You will find them there with all that you need when it comes to buying your cards. They have singles, they have packs, they have boxes, as well as having all of the supplies that you need. The singles, packs, boxes, and then they have different top loaders. They have different sleeves. You can also get binders there, showcases, boxes to carry your cards in and travel with them to different shows and whatnot. So I cannot say enough about what they have. If you've never bought a card in your life, you've never collected, you don't know anything about it, you can go to GG Cards and Breaks, get a ton of knowledge from the awesome team that works there, and leave there with some packs to open, a box to open, your favorite player, favorite trading card game, a new trading card game that you want to jump into. And of course, you have everything, like I said, to protect those cards and keep them safe in your travels. Head to GG Cards and Breaks today and be a big kid every single week. 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York. Big time shout out to Chick-fil-A Bridge Street in Erie. Chick-fil-A Bridge in Erie, also known as Chick-fil-A DeWitt, has opened today. That's right. I knew about it, and I had to keep it. I had to be tight-lipped about it when I found out. But their official day, their grand opening today, August 7th. They opened at 6:30 a.m. this morning. They'll be open through 10 p.m. You can go inside and you can dine in. You can also find them in the drive-through right there off of Bridge Street and off of Erie Boulevard. We look forward to seeing you out at Chick-fil-A DeWitt for their grand opening today. And if you wear cow spots, if you go there and you place an order through the drive-thru or on site in the restaurant with spots on, then you have a nice little cool thing that you'll get from Chick-fil-A. And so you can get a little free meal there. And there is information about that, and I did share a video about it. You can check it out on the social media. So make sure you do that today. Go support the newest Chick-fil-A in Central New York, Chick-fil-A DeWitt, right there at Bridge and Erie, off of Bridge Street, off of Erie Boulevard, right there where they are about to cross each other. You will find Chick-fil-A DeWitt. You can't miss it. It is a massive brick building, and their official grand opening is today, August 7th. So head out there. And you know I'll be going out there to support our fantastic new partner, Chick-fil-A DeWitt. So we look forward to seeing you out there. With that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life, I want to thank you for tuning into the show today and always when you're with us up and down the East Coast, the Midwest, the West Coast, and all around the globe here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on YouTube.com and Facebook.com, both /WakeUpCallDT, and on WakeUpCallDT.podbean.com. We appreciate you being here with us. And of course, once the shows go live, they hop into the archives, and you'll find them on Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, Player FM, Podbean, Podchaser.com, Podvine, Spotify, TuneIn, and YouTube. All you have to do is search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. You can also ask Alexa or your Google Home device to play the latest episode of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and they will do that for you as well. Many thanks to Brooklyn Pickle down in Southern Pines, North Carolina, and to all of our North Carolinian listeners. We do a lot of work with the ACC, who are based in Charlotte, North Carolina, and of course I was just down there a few weeks ago. We have a fantastic partner with Superpowered Pop down in Cornelius, North Carolina, for Parker Banner, Kent, and Wayne comics and games, and of course the Brooklyn Pickle in Southern Pines. You'll find them on 1788 Old Morganton Road in Southern Pines, North Carolina. Make sure you head out there today. Let them know that DT sent you, and they're right down the road from Pinehurst Golf Course. And many thanks to our incredible team of partners here in my home of Central and Upstate New York: Great Lakes Honda City, Carvel DeWitt, the Wildcat Sports Pub, Brian's Landing, GG Cards and Breaks, Ma and Pa's, the snack capital of the world, Canine Camp Dog Daycare, Pizza Man, Chick-fil-A Cicero, Canine Campground Dog Boarding, Mother's Cupboard, Chick-fil-A DeWitt, Avocoles, and of course, we are the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your Bryant and Stratton Bobcats of Syracuse. An exclusive article just came out, and I was happy to be a part of it. Happy to be there to give you the exclusive first breaking news, interview, conversation, and then following that, they released an article from Bryant and Stratton College of Syracuse that I got to put some quotes onto. So I want to thank Nolan Cass and everybody at Bryant and Stratton College of Syracuse, Clay Gagan Sherman, and of course, I want to give a big thanks to Jim Dispenza of Game Game Point Sports and all the work that he's done. Without him, there wasn't the announcement to make. So big time shout out, and I'm going to be sharing that exclusive once again of being with Jim Dispenza of Game Point Sports, as well as Clay Gagan Sherman, the head coach and assistant athletic director at Bryan and Stratton College of Syracuse, head coach of the men's basketball team, as we all got to sit down and talk about this announcement of Game Point connecting with Bryan and Stratton College of Syracuse on a partnership that will see the men's and women's basketball teams practice and train at Game Point Sports in East Syracuse. So you can check all that out, including the article from Nolan Cass, and I will be sharing both of those once again on our social media today. You can find all of our content with the Bobcats, student athletes, coaches, administration, and alumni by going to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, find the BSC Syracuse playlist. The Bobcats are also on wakeupcalldt.com's homepage and underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to syracuse.bscbobcats.com and go Bobcats. Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is also the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your Binghamton University Bearcats. You'll find the Bearcats every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time during Bearcat Time Worldwide. Student athletes, coaches, administration, and alumni join me here from Binghamton, and you will find all of their stories on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, and find our Binghamton playlist. You'll also find the Bearcats by going to wakeupcalldt.com's homepage and underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to binghamtonbearcats.com and go Bearcats. With that being said, here on the show inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, big time thanks to Papa Joe and Tim Lester for joining us inside of Ma and Pa's What's Poppin'. I hope you have a wonderful day. I look forward to getting more from Syracuse camp, and a bunch of great things are coming up on tomorrow's broadcast, including my in-studio guest, Jack Sikowski. You're not going to want to miss a moment of my conversation with a wonderful young person in our society here on this wonderful planet Earth. Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, X at Call DT, Instagram at Wake Up Call _DT. For now, from the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, God bless, no stress, do your best. Have a wonderful day, stay safe, and know that God loves you.